Hi all. Let me run my slides. Okay. Is, are you waiting someone? No? Huh? Hmm. Okay. So begin with today's topic, Windows Store apps. This is just an introduction. So maybe we'll go through a little bit of deep areas and few areas. We are not going to cover the whole stuff. We'll cover very basic components. Maybe this is going to be a series of topics. Like we start with introduction, we'll move ahead and deep and deep in subsequent seminars and all. So we're going to start with an introduction. Of course, do I need to introduce myself? Myself, Nirmal. Probably the presence looks like my team is there. Dushyant is there. So I'm well familiar. Okay, moving to the agenda today. So the introduction to Windows Store app. What is the Windows Store app is called and all, and what is WinRT? Probably most of us, not most of us. Probably these guys are a bit familiar with that. But anyway, we'll cover in basic what is WinRT is, and there is a small confusion. Maybe I'll get back to you on this. What is the confusion? And I want to clarify the same. And WinJS. WinJS, what is WinJS, why it is used, and the life cycle of an application, of Windows Store application, and finally we'll end up with a demo. Okay, so moving to our introduction, what is a Windows Store app? So Windows Store apps in earlier days when Microsoft came up with the idea of designing apps for mobile applications, they came up with, if you go back the ancient age when they have started with, they came up with Windows Mobile 6.5 and all, which is very poor in nature. They don't have anything with them. They were using window forms, right? I hope you, some of you guys are familiar with Windows forms. Anup, you have, right? Amit, Dushyant, you have? Okay. So they came up with Windows forms and very minimal support to the framework, and they have started with the same. When days passed away, there are huge competitors in the market, or Apple, Google, they came into the market with their very robust product. BlackBerry came into market. So Microsoft started thinking on the same. They want to spend thought on it. They want to improve something. So they came up with, yeah, please. So they came up with this idea of designing an OS which will support the phone devices. So they suddenly started with Windows 7. Windows Phone 7. Sorry, Windows Phone 7. From Windows Phone 7, this idea came into the market. Like they are going to design a special kind of. They are going to name it as a Metro app. This Metro app came into this whole scenario from that age, but it was not perfectly been implemented. It was in baby age. They haven't implemented. They were in thought process and all. Time flows away. Win 7, although hit a bit, it was being called as Mango version. Have you ever heard about Mango OS? So it was being told like these are called Mango OS. So then Mango times are over. Rain season came. These guys came up with this Metro apps. So initially when they had started with Windows 8, they said we are going to do it as a Metro app. They came up with their own designs, their own styles and all. It's a huge document with what designer is going to support, how it should look alike. We'll go through. We'll go through on this. Then on time goes away. They have named it as Modern UI app. Now Modern UI app. Okay, in between they also called it as Windows Store app. So then now people are well known about this Modern UI apps. Of course, since this is Windows Store app, the minimum criteria should be it should be published in Windows Store. It cannot go to Apple anyway. And the other part is it fits to the window, right? You have already noticed while I was starting the demo, I would not able to interact with other apps that has been installed here. But still I'm going to display it. Let's say something, I'm unsure whether my Wi-Fi is working. Anyway, the app you can see is a weather app. It's from Microsoft. I'm not marketing my Microsoft here, but wanted to demonstrate how it is working. It's from Microsoft. This is an app. You can see the whole screen is covered. I cannot interact with any other app simultaneously. This is, I mean, Microsoft called this an advantage of Metro UI and Metro apps, Windows Store app. Anyway, so what they are trying to do, they will cover the full screen and allows us to interact with only one app at a time, right? And this is called Chromeless window. You don't have any ideas to interact with other apps and all. They are full screen. You cannot minimize even with that minus buttons and all. To minimize it, you need to hit start button. It get minimized automatically. Okay. To close this up, okay. When they came up with Metro style UI guidelines and all, how the app should look like, what it should behave like. So they came up with there should not be any close button. They don't want close buttons. So what they did, they came up with gestures, touch gestures. So I'm going to demonstrate this touch gestures. In order to close this weather app, what I need to do is, everybody can see my mouse, right? Yeah. What I need to do is, I need to point on the top of the screen. My mouse pointer got changed to hand. Click, drag. Okay, this is a desktop application. Desktop, I'm operating on desktop, so I can use my mouse. But in case of touch devices like Surface and all, you can swipe through. So I clicked, dragged, bin it. This is how it's got closed. So this is one of the feature that this modern UI app came up with. So they said it is gestures. Okay. And the most vital thing is it runs on WinRT. What is WinRT? We'll cover a bit. So WinRT actually, Windows Store, WinRT is a very, the core component for Windows Store. When Windows apps came into picture, market, this Windows Store apps, they came up with WinRT. And now there are a lot of questions I have faced myself, like what is Win8, what is WinRT, and what is Windows RT. Although they are all different, for your information, they are not same. Windows 8, WinRT, and Windows RT, they are not same. We'll go through. Okay, and this, since this is from Microsoft, that's a common tendency. They can be written using .NET supported languages. We can use any C, C++, no, not C++, C++, or C#, and JavaScript, HTML5, CSS, and all stuff. We'll go through how JavaScripts are going to implement it. Okay, and the new thing they came up with, live tiles concept. It was not there. None of them were supporting live tiles. So live tiles was something that Microsoft came up with. So live tiles are, this is what a live tile. You can notice here, these are no more icons. In earlier days, in fact today we have in desktops, we have icons to open an app, but they came up with tiles. These rectangular areas, they are saying tiles. You can see here Bing is animating. Okay, you got a couple of animations on the screen. So yeah, so Windows Store apps, they are much more focused on your information rather than UI designs and all. So they came up with this kind of tile designs, so that your tiles get live data. They started animating, they started saying things about the app, what is going on behind the app. If your app is, even your app is closed, they came up with all this information. And apart from that, they also came up with toast notifications, batch notification, toast notification, and all. So that, what the other notification is? No. No. There are three kinds of notifications. One is batch notification. Batch notification is something you must have noticed, like you have this number of unread emails. Your email icon will have a red round circle with numbers 2, 3, 4, 5. It increases as per the unread messages being arrived. You must have noticed in your mobiles, in fact. Okay, this is what is badge notification. Toast notification is something what Skype is sending. You must have seen like this guy is offline, this guy is online, but you have not used Metro app, so I cannot demonstrate how Metro Skype is working right now. In fact, it's installed in my machine, but I need some time for that. So anyway, in case of Skype, that's a perfect example. If you ping me, you will see some kind of notification will appear here on top of the screen, right? This guy has pinged you. So those are tile notification. This can be integrated with the apps as well. Yes. Like, yes, yes. Like in Mac. Yes. Anyone, if anyone has used Mac, so you must have noticed how the Mac notifications are coming in Skype. Okay. Moving to WinJS, WinRT and WinJS. Those are two core components for. Okay. WinJS is not exactly the core component. It may not be required if you are using YAML to code your language, code your app, right? So WinJS is one of the components, it's a JavaScript component which can be used to write Metro apps that we are going to cover in detail. And the best part of the store apps are they can run in desktop as well as in mobile devices. So since they are okay, why they are going to run both scenarios we'll see in our future slides. Okay, so coming to the most awaited part, WinRT. What is Windows 8? Well known, right? Isn't it? Or not? Don't know what is Windows 8? It's an operating system, of course. It's the operating system from Microsoft. So what is WinRT? And what is Windows RT? Now they have Windows Pro, I guess. So what is Windows RT? Any idea? No idea. Okay, you must have. Probably you are not saying. Anyway, it's my seminar. I have to speak. Okay. So what is Windows RT? Windows RT is a version of Windows which come to market just to run in ARM processors. What is ARM processor now? This is a processor architecture. What is the processor architecture in your machines? x86. Yes. Oh, you have spelled something wrong, huh? Okay. x86 is the current architecture of our processor in our machines that you must have learnt in your engineering stuff, isn't it? Okay. So now ARM is the kind of architecture, a processor which came into market just to support this kind of mobile devices. ARM architecture you can find in any mobile device, even in Apple, the new iPad, Note 8, whatever you have received, you must have a ARM architecture processor. So Windows came up with ARM architecture version of OS, so which is called Windows RT runtime. Okay. Now what is WinRT? WinRT is not the shortcut of Windows RT. It is totally different. Although we said Win 8 and all, but WinRT is a set of APIs. It's a kind of layer. It's a kind of layer on top of on top of Windows RT, right? Since Windows RT came up into get installed in the device, so this WinRT came into picture. Question: why WinRT came into picture? Okay, because Windows RT was not so powerful like Windows 8. That's obvious. Just because of your machine architecture, processor architecture is quite strengthy. It can handle multi windows and all. It can swap a lot of background processes. Anything it can handle, right? But this ARM architecture are not so smart. They cannot do it. So this version come into. And the other part is this WinRT. Okay, this Windows RT, they usually based on COM components. Nowadays, outdated, isn't it? No more. We are no more using COM components anymore. Since they came up with on these stuffs, so this WinRT came into picture. Now, what is the job of WinRT? What WinRT is doing? It's a layer, as I said, right? For instance, I am giving an example. IEnumerable. Everybody must have used. Oh no, only .NET guys. I'm saying. I'm sorry. Only .NET guys must have used. You must have used Asus and Dushyant, right? Amit, you have. Anup and all. Okay. So IEnumerable. Okay, they who have not used in .NET, I'm saying it. IEnumerable is a kind of object which can supports an iteration. You can iterate through an object and all. For each loop you can use, basically if you say in other terms, this enables us to use a for each loop on an object, right? But WinRT didn't understand what IEnumerable is. But .NET cannot go without IEnumerable. So to make this gap zero, what they came up with? IEterable. IEterable is something which WinRT supports, right? So when you write IEnumerable, WinRT converts it, projects it to as a IEterable. So in some language it says WinRT is a projection of Windows RT. It's not perfectly like a just-in-time compiler, or not a CLR kind of stuff, but it's a kind of, normally if you define it, it's a kind of tool which provide APIs to support programmers to write their app using .NET. That's it. It's not a runtime. It's not a perfect runtime. You cannot, although it's a runtime environment, but you cannot rename it as a runtime environment, because it's not like CLR, common language runtime, that we have in .NET. Okay, so I have already mentioned it's a language projection. It converts the steps. It's a pure native implementation. I have already mentioned it's COM based. It's purely native. And the peculiar part is it does not support desktop. It cannot run on a desktop or even a console app. Whatever application that we are going to write, it's not going to run in Windows desktops. Okay. Yeah. No, no, obviously not. Huh, this is similar fashion. Okay. Now the question comes: if Windows RT is separate, Windows 8 is separate, WinRT is separate, then why are you calling like Win8 Metro app? Usually you must have heard like guys have said like designing a Win8 app. It's a common raw sentence. Then what is the combination? What is the conjunction? The conjunction is, उसका भतीजा उसके पास है, the UI, right? The UI layer they are using, Windows 8 UI layer. So WinRT only uses Windows 8 UI layer. That's it. Just to put a essence of Windows 8 look and feel. It has nothing. It only exposes the APIs so that the programmer sitting in the other end can interact with the hardware devices. Hardware is being installed in the device, like camera, your GPS, this no, what do you call, orientation changes and all. All this can be handled using WinRT APIs. But to give the guy who is using the product a Win8 essence, they are supporting Windows 8 UI layer. That's it. So Windows 8 UI layer is a subset of WinRT. It's inside. Okay. And the other thing I forgot to mention. It's built on Win32. WinRT actually built on Win32. It's an enhancement. WinRT is an enhancement of Win32. What we are normally using, Win32, it's an enhancement of Win32. But you cannot say it's a replacement. Contradictory statements. WinRT, in fact, yes, WinRT is built on Windows 32. Win32 that we have using. It's an enhancement, but they cannot be replaced just because of device constraints. Just because of a device constraints. Win32 is in your machine, WinRT is in your the mobile devices. So they cannot be replaced. Okay. So, okay, this point says only meant to design apps for Windows Store. That's obvious. I mean, WinRT came into picture to design Windows Store's apps and does not support any backward compatibility. Even if we write something in Windows Phone 7, that's not going to run in WinRT and all. Although that's the is the ancestor, but it's not going to run. And if we want to distribute an app, the only option is Windows Store. Without that, we cannot distribute an app. Allows one app at a time to open. I have already mentioned the same. Okay, here we are. This is what the whole architecture of this WinRT. This is the core service that Windows have. The Windows OS is residing here. You can say the kernel or whatever you are saying it. Moving up, this is what is called altogether WinRT API layer, where you have your communication, your application model, your communication data layer, graphics and media layer, devices and printing layers, all these layers that WinRT is having just to expose the APIs, right? It exposes APIs for the communication, as you can make phone calls on click to call, that functionality we have in Skype. The same can be implemented in phone devices as well. You click on a number, you get the phone application being opened with the numbers being typed, you hit the call button and call. So this kind of stuffs comes in communication and data. Graphics and medias, you can control the graphics, you can control the UIs. And devices and printings, these are the hardware and related interactions and all. Those stuffs being controlled by WinRT. So WinRT API just sit just as a layer of the core services, right? Then moving to the upper layer, this is what we are for, the programmers. So we can write anything using YAML. So these are our presentation layers. In YAML we can make presentations, but in background you are using C, C++, VB, CSAP, whatever. And here in HTML and CSS we are making presentation, and we are creating JavaScript. We are using JavaScript for this interaction stuffs, handling clicks, events and all, everything needs to be done in JavaScript. This is what the desktop app. So common core service, this uses the desktop app. Yes, I'm coming to that. I was expecting the question actually. So Chakra is a new JavaScript runtime engine. You must have heard about V8 Rhino, right? Asutosh is master of it. So so this Chakra came from Microsoft just to challenge them. They came up this with IE9. They wanted to make IE9 more fast and more faster than it before. So they came up with Chakra. This is a new JavaScript engine. So this is what being implemented right now in MetroStyle apps. So of course they need a JavaScript engine to compile the JavaScript to the native language. Any more questions here so far? No. Okay. Now coming back to the original slide, the original agenda we have shared. The third one is WinJS. What is WinJS? As the name suggests, it's a JavaScript. Of course, it's a JavaScript component. It's a specially built JavaScript component from Microsoft. As usual, Microsoft has a very good history in making things out of the standard. So they have made this WinJS. Although it's a very powerful tool, we should not make it make a joke out of it. It's a powerful tool. This is a JavaScript library for Windows Store. That's point one. And it's not like WinJS is a mandatory component to design a Windows Store app. No. Why no? Just because if you want to design in YAML, then you don't need WinJS, right? Okay. And the other part is they're only available to JavaScript apps. You cannot say, let me write down an application using YAML and I will use some JavaScript JavaScript stuffs here because my Chakra runtime engine is there. No. If you want to design an app, start with JavaScript. Then this WinJS will be available to you. Otherwise not. Since this is going to use native languages. I mean, the output would be native ones. They will prepare a package for you which will run in the device itself. So there is no worries about your cross browser compatibility. But in common cross platform languages, we have faced in some scenarios where we are relying on a WebKit which is running behind. In cross browser application, we are writing the application in the same scenario like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But we are relying on a WebKit which is running behind to compile my JavaScript, CSS, and HTML file. But here there is no WebKit sitting behind. They are straightway compiling the whole HTML, CSS, JavaScript into a native executable stuff. Maybe we can analyze what they are compiling. No, there are two different things. What you're opening in IE browser is a website. That is a web page. Yes, that is a web page. You don't have, your web page do not have intelligence. They don't have, because they're just running the server code in your client machine, isn't it? But this kind of apps, you can put all your logic inside it, as you're doing, like as you're doing with normal desktop applications. So this is another scenario, like designing an application which runs specifically on a device with all its logic and everything. Only data resides in the server. That's it. A communication will go on. Yes. A rendering engine has no difference. Of course, it has no difference, because this is what JavaScript engine is doing. But if you talk in terms of HTML rendering that you are doing in web page, it's not there. Since during compilation they already understood what you have written, but your web page, they don't have idea like what they are going to run. They only gets idea when the contents get loaded and the rendering stage of the life cycle got executed. But here they have the full idea what they are going to display, because they have already converted into native code, native executable statements. Okay. And the best part of WinJS is they are exposing controls, powerful controls that we are using day to day life. I'm coming to the controls. And implementation of a promise object. Okay. You must have heard about callbacks, right? You must have familiar with callback methods, functions. This WinJS came up with a promise object. As their name suggested, they are promising. They are promising to do something. So when we are using a promise object, after the execution of the promise object, the control comes back to us. I mean, it's under control of a developer. Then a developer can decide what to do next. So they have supplied a dot then. So how it's going to behave? It's going to behave in similar fashion. Like you write a method. It's going to work. Okay, no problem. Okay. Okay. Now, let's say you write a method which returns promise and promise object, right? So if it returns a promise object, let's say it's xyz method, and xyz this function is being called here, then what you need to do is xyz dot then and do something, right? As soon as the control reaches at xyz, xyz will get executed, but not this part. Once it got executed, since xyz in literature term, xyz has promised to this guy, whoever here, var abc. So xyz has promised to this abc that I'll execute something beyond this. I mean, after I have done. Once I'm done, I'll execute whatever written there in then, right? they have done as well. So once they are done, or once they are executed successfully, they comes back to these statements and started executing. This this is actually powerful implementation by WinJS. In earlier days, you need to rely on callbacks and all, but this get eliminated a lot of issues that they were having in callbacks. Okay, moving to the controls that WinJS is supporting. AppBar. AppBar is a kind of control which WinJS is supporting. AppBar was not there in any other platforms like Apple or Android. They don't have AppBars, but Microsoft came up with AppBars. What is an AppBar? I'm just trying to show an app. Where was my weather app? Yeah. Okay, these are called AppBars. You can see two slide came out of both the ends, this one and this one. So these are AppBars. So they usually behaves like main menus. You need to put menus, what you have in the desktop apps, you click on and got a whole list of menus and branching menus. But this AppBar concept came up by replacing all the menus. And this is what in WinJS implementation. Maybe we can implement some control and I can demonstrate how these stuffs are working really funny, but sounds huge. Flip view. Flip view you must have seen. You must have seen somewhere you are having image display. You have galleries. So in galleries you must have swiping your galleries and touch. Huh? Carousel. Oh, okay, jQuery carousel. Okay. So not switch so frequent. Okay. So in normal scenario I'm giving, if you have a smartphone, you must have galleries, you are browsing and you are swiping something. You want to say implement same functionality in your Windows Store app. So there's a control which is called flip view. You can add your images there, although they're exposing a lot of things, like you can directly come and fetch your system images and all files. You swipe, things will move ahead. Grid view, a well-known name, no need to introduce. So flyout, okay, flyout is a new thing Microsoft came up with. So what we have in pop-ups, right? In pop-ups, in jQuery you are using, and you can display those pop-up in modal windows and all. But here they came up with flyouts. So flyouts is a kind of pop-up which can be customized. I mean, what the template is belongs to, you can customize. You can add your own spans, you can add your own text boxes, drop downs, command buttons and everything, and you catch all the events out of there. You can even control the position where you want to display. If you want to display a flyout here, if you want to display here, if you want to display somewhere in the center of the screen, wherever you want to display, you can control the positioning. So this flyouts came up just to replace this pop-up. No more pop-ups. If you want to show pop-up, go for message dialog, a string with few buttons. That's it. If you want to take some inputs straight away from the user, then go for flyout, bit out of the standards. Rating controls, we must have seen those stars, clicking on the stars, making it yellow. Movies mein hota hai na, just this says like go on this steps. And date and time picker. Date and time picker that we have in Windows, clicking on showing up calendar. Here they are actually, if you use date and time pickers, they came up with 3 drop downs saying choose date, choose day, month and year. They automatically get rendered. You don't have to add new drop downs there. And lot more controls are there. We cannot demonstrate all. Okay. So far this is how WinJS, WinRT and Windows RT, WOA, Windows on ARM, which is Windows RT actually, and all these Windows Store apps. So now we need to see how an app behaves to the normal scenario. I mean, we also, being programmer, we must need to know how our app is performing. so that we can rescue our client for losing data from losing data. Okay, so I know it sounds boring, but these are the basic stuffs. We'll go ahead. So life cycle of an app. Not running, of course, since you haven't clicked and you haven't navigated yet, so it's in not running state. Once you click on not running, it started to activating. They get activated themselves, and to activate themselves, there are 12 ways to activating themselves. Okay, before to that, just small sentences. Windows Store came up with some new concepts which is called contract and extension. So what is a contract? A contract is something what we know in literature. That is what it's an agreement, right? So you can agreement your app between an app which resides in Windows. Let's say we usually do stat search to find a folder and file. In fact, we can write a contract if we do stat search and write something, and that if that string belongs to my app, right? Let's say in my app, I have designed a Skype app, for instance. I'm not, but let's say I have designed a Skype app, right? In Skype app, I have a name, Nirmal. I need to find it out. So what I need to do is, I need to search in Skype. What I need to do, I need to go into the Windows normal stat search, and in search I'll write Nirmal. Okay. Now, if I have a contract being signed between my Skype app and the search, then on hitting enter, it will search from all the locations, and I can specify if search from Skype, then it will search from Skype itself. Right. So this is kind of contract. So we can write contracts and extension in 12 ways. One is with camera. Let's say your application is the application you're using needs to invoke a camera, or something you have written some custom implementation on invoking a camera and taking a picture. The image will get saved into your application's parent folder. In that scenario, your application gets activated. I'm just illustrating what are the number of ways that one application can be activated, from not running to activated. If you go back to the slide, the first initial stage is not running, since your app is not running. Then going to activate. Before running, you have an activate event. Okay. Contact picker. Let's say your app is doing a contact picking thing, and you wanted to pick a contact from search or from somewhere, and you want to invoke your app when the contact is being searched. Then your app get activated. Devices, all the hardware related interaction if your app is supporting too. File, yeah, saying something? Okay. File open, file save pickers. Protocols, search target, case file, launch, print task. These all are 12 ways that we can activate our app. Huh? Launch is normal launch. If you click and it's launching, it's not, I mean, it's not a contract. Launch is something that I did right now. I clicked and launched. This is the way you can activate. I mean, this should not be launch actually, but in IntelliSense you get it launched. But normally it's clicking on an icon, clicking on a tile and getting in open your app. So this is launch. Okay. So these are the ways that we can activate an application. Once the application got the focus, it got activated, the state gets changed from not running to running. Now if you want to access the status of the particular application, you see the status says it's running, right? Then suspending. If your app is on the screen, it's open, it's running, no suspending, the status is not running, status is running. If you hit start button, let's say, if I hit start button, now my slides went down. They are in the queue, they are somewhere in the processor stack. So now I am running a start window here. That means my current app is in suspend mode. It immediately never goes to suspending mode. If I hit start button, it's straightway not going to suspend mode. It's going to wait for me till 10 seconds, right? It waits me 10 seconds. If in case I switch back to my app in 10 seconds, the status is still running. It's not yet suspended. Windows will wait. If user is not going to interact with the minimized app for 10 seconds, then the status changes to suspended, right? Then from suspended, whether it go to not running or it goes to running. So here how it's going to not running and running. Usually how Windows behave with its apps. Let's say today now I have opened Bing app, then weather app, then some other apps, and I have started continuously opening and minimizing it, right? So some time will come when memory will crash. That's obvious. Since all my apps are in a queue in suspended mode, isn't it? Since they're in suspended mode, so what Windows will do, Windows will check which app has been accessed, has not been accessed for how long time. Then they decide, oh okay, this app needs to be closed. Then they terminate the app. In that scenario, that app goes to not running status until and unless it's not suspended by someone. There are certain reasons. There are 3 reasons how the app gets suspended and goes to not running. I'll come to that point as well. So from suspend, that this is obvious. Like if I hit the tiles again, then app changes to suspended to running state. That's for sure. Like as I said, this one, it was there. I mean, it's not reloading itself. The status was not running, suspended, and now it changes to running on hit of the tiles. Okay. There are reasons for termination. One is terminated by the system, as I have mentioned. The other one is closed by the user. I have already demonstrated how the close gesture is working. And some unexpected termination. Unexpected termination are of any type. Battery down, box. Of course, box are not exactly unexpected termination. I mean crashing and stops, but you can consider them as unexpected termination. In those scenarios, also your app gets terminated. Okay. I'm just going to start the demo, and this is the final part of the story. I'm using Visual Studio, creating a new project. Okay, so there are certain templates being available for Windows Store only. Since here the JavaScript, any template I'll choose, they all will use WinJS. These all are basic templates being provided by Microsoft, other than this rad controls. This is because I have installed Telerik in a machine for Windows 8. And for CSAP, if you choose Windows Store, you have templates available for YAML. Okay, maybe I can open one. I name it as demo app. In the background, it's trying to create a project and making all the references being added to there, this WinJS reference libraries and all, so that the app will start with all references being embedded. We need, being as a developer, we need to add references and all. I mean, if we want to add something extra than WinJS, then then Visual Studio is not responsible. That we have to do. Okay. The structure is very straightforward. You can see default.html here. This is what our view page where we write our HTML stubs, JS for the same HTML, and CSS for the same HTML. Okay. Yes, answer is yes. But I haven't heard anyone use jQuery yet. But Microsoft supports it because WinJS has given a lot. You need to think of jQuery, and we have faced some issues during use of WinJS and jQuery together. We have faced some issues, so I'm unsure whether they can go together or not. We have investigated a lot. In fact, it's a point of R&D so far as well. But jQuery can be used individually. There is no problem. Okay, so if you can see this structure of project, see in references they have, as I said, Windows library for JavaScript. Yes, Windows library for JavaScript, and this is what the WinJS libraries are. This base.js, UI.js, and these are default themes being supported by Microsoft. They have provided some default CSS. Let me write something here. Okay, probably we can do some workout. On click of a button, let's go and show a flyout that we have spoke about. So for that, simple JavaScript, I want to write it button. Let's name it ID. I have a screencast on the same as well. Button. Let's write the flyout. So flyout. Okay. So this is the button. On hit of this button, I'm going to display a flyout. You need to design a flyout. So flyouts are nothing but normal divs. So I'll say flyout. Text and make it ID text name or something. This looks like simple HTML, right? The only thing I'm missing is adding a control. So here, this is what WinJS is doing. So WinJS has all these extra things like data win bind, data bind source, data win control. So all these steps. So for that, we need to specify it as a data win control. So being as a win control, there are enums. These all are controls being supported by WinJS. I'm going to choose flyout. That's it. Moving to JavaScript. Like jQuery, we have ready here, but in other manner. The WinJS application, if you can notice here, this is for the global object. This takes all the events for the application. I mean, all the events that we are going to apply on application, we can write on the same. Since we have already declared the variable app, so what we are going to do is we are going to write it on onReady function. Okay. The common practice that we have in JavaScript, we need to find the element from the DOM. Let's find it. We'll say document dot get element by ID, and we're going to add a event listener. That's a click event and a function. Okay. So in the function, we need to get the div from the screen, from the DOM element. Let's say change, not to be confused. The extra thing that we need to do is Win control. See, why I have written win control? If I straightway write down like document dot get element by ID with only an ID, this one, then it will be treated as a normal HTML control. But if I write as a win control, so Windows understood, okay, win control is something what WinJS is dealt with, so that it will expose all its methods on the same. Okay, and typing fly out change to flew out. Okay, so takes a minimum one argument, which we have missed. The minimum argument. Okay, I probably do one thing. The minimum argument it takes is the anchor tag. We must need an anchor to display. So if we say it's btn only, hit the button. Huh? Some spelling mistake. Okay, okay, okay. The you know, what do you say? The powerful thing being provided by Visual Studio is this one. Have you ever noticed this icon? If I hit this icon, then my output will get automatically refreshed. I don't have to rerun the steps. So I hit fly out. So we go. Okay. Why it is appearing here just adjacent to this button is we have specified the anchor and the rest of the part is in auto mode. Let's say I want to show here somewhere in the right corner of the screen, so I need to say btn parent node top right. Save it. Here we go. Okay, so in this scenario, this is what very simple method I have designed, and we can use any combination. In fact, so has all these three elements, three arguments it can take: anchor and this positioning statements. Okay, so this is what a very simple demo I have demonstrated. So now that's all from the demonstration side. From the presentation side, and to hear from you guys if you have any queries. No, it actually took the whole screen body, because the button was in the parent itself. No, of course, because it only takes the control, the positioning of the control. They are following the standards. I mean, this is what the, you can say it's a limitation of Windows IT. They can, I mean, you can only open one app, means you can only interact with one app at a time. There is no multi-window concept. Yes, yes, that's what the same pattern is here. No, you cannot go on multi-window as you are doing in Windows desktop application. Two windows simultaneously you can place, and you can see both. Let's say two Windows Explorer. Whatever, but nobody supports multi-window. What they are trying to do is they allows you to interact with other app. I mean, only one app, but other apps get minimized. They're in stack. Are you talking about Note 8? Huh? I mean the device I'm talking about. The Note 8 we have right now, you have that multi-window concept. What is trying to do? If you click on a an app, the other app still says by side. No, that's what I'm trying to say. Let's say in the multi-window you have that what do you call? If you slide it, that notification bar that's coming from the top. If you slide it and select multi-window option, you will get an arrow on the left-hand side of your screen. You click on the arrow, you get the list of apps that you have. If you click on any app, that app occupies the full screen. It's not like they're appearing to Internet Explorer, Windows Explorer being opened on a desktop. So that concept is no more here. So only one app can be interacted at one time. The others will go suspended. Yes, yes. Multiple threads. Yes. Although they supports running background task, they supports running background task. Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah. No, multitasking is not multi-window. Multitasking is something else. That's what I said. Like they can support background stuffs and all. But multitasking and multi-window are two different things, right? So, and probably this is what the what Asutosh has illustrated. Like this is what the architecture of the processor maybe, which has already restricted to all mobile vendors. You cannot run multiple windows at the same time in any of the mobile devices. So you have to rely on single app, single window structure. Running on desktop, you mean what is why the app bar is using? Sorry, I didn't follow your question. Okay. Yes, the app bar, as I said, usually in normal, if you think of a normal scenario, I'm showing my desktop. Okay. Yes, you have these menus, right? So Microsoft came up with app bars just to reduce this menu kind of efforts. So they don't want menus there. So what they want, let's say, is it? Huh. Abbar is actually they came up with the idea to show main menus. They don't want menu-like structure, hierarchical structure being opened and being displayed. So they came up with app bars. So app bar is a kind of architecture which basically comes for the main menu. That's it. So now this has been used nowadays in multiple scenarios. So app bar is basically come up with replacement of main menu so that they can be used throughout the app with a single structure and all. Yeah, hold on, let him finish, please. Chromeless, yes. Mhm. Yes, yes, of course, this is a design concept. That's point one. Yes, yes, I was saying something. although that is quite similar, but they are not the same scenario to replace. Here in Metro apps, we have a navigation framework. On implementation of a navigation framework, we automatically get a back button. It must be somewhere. I can show you. Mm, if I want to navigate somewhere, then it will display a back. No, no. Okay. Anyway, if we implement that navigational framework, it's a JS actually. We'll get this kind of icon here. So on navigating from parent screen to any other screen, this icon will automatically appear here and keeps track of the whole history that we have navigated through. So on click of each one, we can get unfolded. I mean, when we start unfolding the steps. Yes, yes, yes. In Android, what the back button is doing, if we implement the navigation, this navigator.js actually, the JavaScript file. So if we implement the same, then this back button will appear, or circle and arrow within it. Yeah. No, it's not default. In blank app template, you won't get a default navigation structure, and that's what I said. Like it's not always default. I mean, there is a JS file. You can, even if you want to remove it, you can remove out of it. No, that's its own architecture. No, background is something else. For that, Microsoft has its own background process being defined, which fires minimum at an interval of 15 minutes. Okay, these are restrictions because these are not highly used multi-threaded environment, so they have restrictions. So to write down something in the background, you need to use background processes. You can define the background process, and you can control the functionality being there, but they fires in an interval, minimum interval of 15 minutes. You can adjust that, 16 minutes, 17, but cannot make it 14 minutes. The minimum is 15 minutes. That can be executed in suspend mode itself. Huh. But they're not background tasks. That can be executed suspended mode. No, 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 no. This will not get terminated. If something is being done by the app, it's not going to terminate. As I said, if it says, without any interaction, without any thing being, I mean, if it's just a liveless human being there for 10 seconds, went to your termination mode, terminate mode. Sorry, suspended mode. And these 10 seconds are, uh, I mean, being provided for the user just to save, if you want to save something, some variable, some state where you are, or some page data and all, you can do within that 10 seconds. You have those 10 seconds with you. Yeah, that's what the navigator.js is doing. Okay, in mobile devices, there is no database actually. They relies on web APIs. Whatever APIs being exposed to this particular application, they can use any database. In fact, starting from MongoDB to SQL Server, anything. But if you are talking about native DB, then usually in earlier version Microsoft has SQL C. In this version also we can use SQL C, along with you can use SQLite as well. Then you need to use SQLite or SQL C, whatever. In fact, we can use local storage as well, but this that using database is more robust than the using local storage, because you need to do file operations and all. So instead of that, you use SQLite or SQL C, where you can have very minimal queries and all. Yes, but if it is very minimal, then you can use a local storage, kind of storing login data. You don't need to create a SQLite in background and do it. Store it in a text file and it will work. Any more? Yeah. Usually, this raw notifications and all, they only works if your app is got registered for showing in the lock screen. What is a lock screen is? This is what a lock screen, right? So if your app is being registered to show in the lock screen somewhere, then you must have let's say Skype is one of the app that if I it's not registered for lock screen, if I want to register it for lock screen, then it will display icon here, Skype icon, and that will get automatically updated. Like one hit came up when the screen is locked, then 1 2 3 4 those bars get increased. So what he has told, like raw notifications are being served in the same scenario. It's up to those who are already registered for the lock screen, and this background task is also being served for those apps they who are registered in to be appeared in the lock screen. In the okay, in the manifest, you can set it here in the manifest. Maybe I missed. Huh? Yes. Here I can set lock screen notifications so that that app can appear in lock screen. Maybe we can try. No, we can't. We need WNS integration and all the stuffs are there. Any more queries? No more queries? We're done. Okay. Although this was just a small presentation of the large and huge concept, what we cannot cover in a single day, probably we need couple of series of demonstration and presentation and explanation. But we'll explore it. I mean, it's not the end of the road. We all can explore. We can keep sharing in our team spaces and all the stuffs that we received, whatever we learned, or whatever you think like something I missed and I should say there and all. Then you can add your queries there as well. Apart from these sessions, maybe I'll try to answer the same. Maybe we can discuss on the same, like if you want to add your views, like no, this should not be that and this should be that, I can put my views. We can have a discussion to figure out what is the correct thing, right? Thanks a lot. Welcome.